Hello everyone, I'm Hilary Chin. Thank you all so much for coming and watching this YouTube channel. Today I want us to run through some basic calculations and functions in Excel. And I'd like you to know some of the basic difference between calculations and functions. We'll be walking you through sum, count, max, mean, and also average. A few days ago, one of our students reached out to me trying to get some calculations, especially averages. Okay, so you're going to be seeing how that is done automatic within Excel. Excel has a lot of amazing functions that are built in that you can use anytime you want to use them, especially when you're dealing with data. Let's jump in. Let me show you what I mean. Okay guys, let's start with some Excel functions, okay, and then we move to formulas. It's very important. So right here, if you go up to formulas here, if you go up to your tab here and you go up to formulas here, you would see two key items. Okay, it has auto sum and it has insert functions. I want us to start with this auto sum. So we are going to move from sum, count, average, max, and minimum. Okay, these are common functions or calculations that you would see within Excel. Okay, when we move from functions, we'll go back to calculations so you see the difference. Okay, but let's start with functions. So right here, this is my data. Let's first of all look at the data. We have organization type, activities, boys, girls, adult male, adult female. We'll just want to be summing here. We'll be looking at the sum of all this data. Okay, the sum of this row here, and then we're looking at the count, we're looking at the average, we're looking at the max, the mean. Okay, so in order to do this, all I need to do is just to click under this inside this cell under sum here, just click and then come to this auto sum and I select. So you see it has sum, average, count numbers, maximum and minimum. Okay, so we'll just come to sum and we click. You see the magic. The moment you click sum, it highlights all the areas that you want to sum. So it says 220 plus 180 plus 45 plus 50, and you click your tab. You see it gives you the formula here. Very easy guys, and you can just come here, play with your mouse, it becomes this black cross, and you double click, it shares the formula down here. Now let's go up here. The formula bar is off. Okay, let's put it on. Let's go to view, and then you put the formula bar. This is a formula bar. If I put this on, it comes on. See, that's the formula bar. So if I click inside each cell here, it shows me the formula that we have used. So we have used sum equals to sum. And lest I forget, anytime you want to perform a calculation in Excel, you must start it with equals to. Okay, that is why all the functions are starting with equals to. Okay, let's go to count. The moment you click inside count here, you go to home, go right up to formulas here, you go to auto sum, you go to your count, and then you click. You see automatically counts. Now the difference between count and sum is that sum is saying 45 plus 50, so it's summing this up, okay, to give you approximately 95. Okay, and count is just saying this cell plus this cell 2. Okay, so if I click tab here, it gives me 5, but sum, you see that it sums up each value, but count, it just counts the cells. Okay, and I can still go here, turn my cross to this small black, and I double click and it shares. If I go to average, go again to auto sum here, I go to average, I still get it. You see it gives me the average. You know, in common mathematics, average is this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this divided by the count. It means that the sum divided by the count. Okay, and then it gives me 165.88 stuff. So if I put my cross and I double click here, it comes down here, gives me the sum or the average of each of these columns, each of these lines. You see the average of each of these lines. You see, perfect. If I come also to max, okay, and then I go to auto sum here and I go to max and I click, it comes here, look at all these values and then select the maximum value. By looking at this data, our maximum value here is 495. Okay, and I click my tab, so it gives me 495, and I double click here, and then you see that it goes around this data, it goes to each row here. Okay, each row here, you see 740. You see this is the 740 that is higher than all the data here. If you go to this other row 7, it gives you 311. It means among all this data here, the highest value is 311. Okay, and then minimum as well. We click there, go to our auto sum, and then we click minimum, and then automatically it gives you that, and then you click tab, and then now you can double click. You see, it gives you this. This is very, very important. Now, after having looked at the functions at this level, let's go to the next sheet there, and then we look at function also at this level. Now, there's a sign in Excel that I want to show you. It's very, very important, but before I show you, let me clear off this data here. Just click my delete. So there's a sign in Excel that I want to show you. It's very important. Those of you who are still learning how to do functions and calculations, you can use it. It's very helpful. If I come here under sum here, and I come to this insert function and I click, you see it brings this dialog box. It's very powerful. This dialog box is very powerful. It does the same thing but in another level and in another style. So if I come here, since this is sum, and I come and click sum because I want to get this function, okay, and I click OK, you see it opens up another dialog box, and it shows me that what this wants to do is you want to sum up 300 plus 400 plus 20 plus 19, which is what we have along this row here. Okay, if I click OK, you see that it gives me, and I can see double click, and then I have the same result. If I come here again, instead of clicking right here and I come and click right down here, you see it gives me the same. Okay, and I come and I say now is count. I want to look at count, and I select count, and then I click here. It comes again, tells me it wants to count this. So we give me 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and I click OK. You see it gives me 5, and I double click. So with this option now, you will need to take some actions. For instance, if I come click on that count here and I click insert, okay, and I take my count and I click OK, I will need to come here and specify, I'll need to come here and specify the areas that I want to find average from, count from. Okay, so that is where I want to count. If I want to do my average, and I come again here and I click, and then I come to average and I select, I will come here and select the area that I want to look for average, okay, this range, and then I click OK, and then it gives me average 184.75. okay, and then the same thing, if I want to check the maximum, I'll just do the same thing. Here is different from the automatic. Okay, and then I click, and then I come now and I choose the range where I want to get the maximum from. I can still come here and choose the whole of this range. Okay, I can choose the whole of this range, and I click OK. You see, so it comes around this data and then choose the highest data, and it gives me 739. Okay, if I come to this line again, I will check around here 462, and we look at here, where is 462? This is 462. Okay, 462. So we have just two data here that are high. We have 739462 as per the whole of this data. So it is selecting from the whole of this data. That is why we have it here. Okay, if we were looking at it from line to line to line, so it will select each line and give us the data. Let me do it again that way. Let's also put max here so that you understand what I'm saying. So if I come here now and I go here again and I take max, okay, and I click OK, and then I decide that it gives me the max per row. Okay, and I click OK. So it comes to this particular row, it looks at the max, which is 400, and gives me. And then if I come here and I double click, you see, so it comes to this other row here, looks at the highest, and it gives me 171. It comes to this other row here, looks at the highest, and it gives me 210, which is, this is 210 here. It selects amongst here and gives me 210. It comes to this other row, selects amongst here and gives me 200. So it's selecting from here. Okay, this is the ranges, the areas that it's selecting from. Okay, from this area, and then giving me the maximum here. So this is how we can do our functions. In terms of calculations, here is just simple, the same thing. For calculation, if I say equals to, and I reference this cell and I go shift plus this other cell, okay, and then I click tab, so it gives me 700. So calculations is what you initiate. Okay, it's not built in, is what you initiate. If I come and say equals to, and I say 300 divided by 220. Okay, and I click OK, it gives me 20. You see now, so that is what I initiate. Okay, I can come and say equals to, and I say 400 minus 300. Okay, and it gives me that. Okay, so this is how we reference. This is how we do calculations. I can come to this cell and I color this cell yellow. I color this other one yellow as well, and then I color this other one red. Okay, perfect. So if I come here and I say equals to, and I say this cell minus this cell, and I click OK, you see. So now anything that I put in this cell, if I put 10 and I come and put 5 here, no, sorry, and I come and put 5 here, you see, automatically, you see, because I have referenced this cell, I have said anything that I put here should be minus in anything that is here. So if I come here and I put 10, you see that this data will be changing automatic. If I come here again and I put 100, you see, automatically remove this thing. If I come again and I put 100 as well, you see the same. If I come here and I put 200, you give me minus something, you see. So this is how you can also do your calculations and reference and relate it to one another. Okay, so at this stage I think this is okay, and please follow us for more.